Hello and welcome to another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk, a no-holds-barred forum for leaders and innovators. I am LaWanna Bradford. It is Women's History Month, and I have an amazing guest with us, Miss Laura White. How's it going, Laura?
It's going awesome. How are you?
I'm doing well. This is a time when the world is spotlighting women, those who have preceded us and whose shoulders we're standing on, those of us today who are living history and who will soon be the giants for tomorrow.
Amen.
Amen, right?
Crazy good time.
I want to tell the audience a little bit about you, Laura. You are the owner of LW Consulting. You are a speaker. You are a business strategist, as well as a Christian life coach, author, and you are the best-selling author of the Prosperous Leader, Walking in the Wisdom of God, as well as you are a John Maxwell trainer. And one of the things that you mentioned is your goal is to help women entrepreneurs walk in their God-given gifts and talents. And if we can just kind of unpackage that, because some people, no matter where they are in their lived experience or living experience, find themselves still struggling. It's right. It's like I've been the mother, I've been the wife, I've been the successful entrepreneur or corporate individual, but yet they struggle with their identity and the so what factor. Why am I here? What does all of this really mean? How do you take that journey and translate it into the entrepreneurial experience?
That is such a great question, because that is the leading question that I find, that women have so many hats, so many identities, and they're like, but who am I? I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, but who am I? And so when you really start unfolding and asking them the questions, because I believe a good coach is the one that asks the great questions, is really unfolding who they are and what they love. What's their passion? What do they love to do? And they're like, well, I don't know. I've been a wife and kids. I've that's all I've been doing for 20 years. But if you go back and say, well, what did you like as a kid? And you go back and you have to help them dream and go back to, what was it like? What were the things that you were talented? What were your strengths? And go back to that little kid, that when maybe they were, middle school or maybe high school, what they really dreamed, because everybody had a dream.
You just said something so profound, is that everyone had a dream. And you think about little children when they're playing, they've got these imaginary things going on, right? The imaginary fortress. There's something there in their world, and they see it and they believe it. And somehow as we grow older and life hits us, we stop seeing, we stop believing, we stop dreaming. How do you help women tap back into that dream space?
Really starting asking questions about who they were or what they loved to do. What were they involved in? And some will say, well, sports, or, I did this on the side. Maybe I did some dancing or singing, or, maybe my dad did woodwork and I loved being in there with him. Well, what stopped you from doing that? And then they're like, wow. But sometimes it's even like, because I help women grow their online business, it's going back to, what do people say that you were good at? And if they don't know, that's one of their homeworks. I'm like, I want you to ask 3 to 5 people, what do you see me as? What do I solve? What do I help with? What are some of my strengths? Because they're so blinded of all the identity of who they are, of what they've been doing in the moment, and forget what are some of the gifts that they have. You'd be surprised. They'd be like, they're having all moments, or light bulbs go off, and they're like, I can't believe I didn't even know that about me. It's like all these amazing things that come out. But that's usually one of the homeworks I give them, is like, I want you to ask 3 to 5 people, that really know you, not someone that doesn't know you, and try not to ask your husband. But and that really helps them identify some of the things that they just don't even know, because it's just like anything that we do. It's like, "Oh, this is so easy." But someone says, "No, I don't really know how to do that." And I'm like, "Oh, well, let me show you." It's one of those things.
I love that. And that's, it's a fun exercise, right? Going back and reflecting
It is.
on what was it that excited us, and and it's interesting because as you were talking, I was just thinking about myself, and I'm an artist, as far as painting and drawing, and that's all I did. Every opportunity I had, you'd see LaWanna with a sketchbook or with charcoals or pastels. And as you were talking, I thought, why did I put that on the back burner?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so much a part of who I was, and now it's like this occasional hobby I picked up. But it makes you wonder, what if I had continued to pursue that?
Exactly. Exactly. I have so many like doctors and lawyers come to me and they're like, I just need to know what I'm here. You're thinking, but you have, in your head, you're thinking, but I'm a doctor. But they're like, I want to know my purpose. So we go, well, you already doing this. And they're saying, I'm not changing this. But we find out what that passion is, what's in it for them. So taking my story, I grew up in a family of 9. And I always was that mediator. I mean, everybody always came to me with their issues, their problems, and helping them solve it and encouraging them. And when I sat back, I think it was in my 40s that someone did this for me. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like even before I became a coach, I was already a coach, because everybody always came to me of like, help me fix this. Help me understand this. Help me get along with this person. And I was always contributing to make people's lives better. And I'm thinking, wow, that's my calling. And that's what I ended up doing.
Is there a difference between your purpose, your calling, your
Mm.
gifting?
Oh gosh, that is a good question. That could be so deep. Alana, we could talk about this for 2 hours just on this alone. It could be, it could be different. It could be the same. It could be different, because that calling is what God gave you, and that's part of me of really helping people find their identity, helping people find their faith. But the gifts is helping them to conquer on helping them with their business, because I struggled for 3 years. And I spent so much money and so much coach and so much time trying to figure out how to be a successful entrepreneur. So now my mess is my masterpiece now. So I just intertwine all of them now. So my calling is God wants me to help people believe in themselves and encourage them. But it is a big piece of the puzzle to grow your online business, because you have to believe in yourself. You have to have faith that God gave you those gifts and talents. And so that's part of your gifting, but also your calling. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Oh, you did very well with that one.
That was a hard one, but no. I'm up for any challenge.
I love that. And one of the things your focus is women online businesses. Do
Yes.
you only work on online businesses, or why did you choose that particular niche?
Okay, this is a good question. When I first started as a coach, I was a life coach for like 5 years, and I loved it. I helped women find their identity, their purpose, same kind of thing, but also helping them to find healthy boundaries and help them to see, the things that they are good at. And sometimes it's with relationships, because I've been married for 37 years. So I can tell people I've done it, bought the t-shirt, and I can help you. And I was in that aspect of relationships for a while. But when people kept asking me, how are you growing your business? How are you getting clients all the time? I see you speaking everywhere. And then my coach says, why don't you pivot to be a business strategist and life coach? Because we know you can't do life without business and business without life. Let's just common sense, right? Because it does have to do with your mindset, your faith, and your beliefs and who you are. So that's how it evolved from life coaching to now business strategy and life coaching. And I love it because I do like both aspects of it. And I do love helping every woman with their faith, their beliefs, and then helping them to find out what their strengths are. And because I spent so much money and so much time trying to figure it out for 3 years, I'm like, okay, I could really help people now because I can see what their gaps, their missing parts are for their pieces of growing their business.
And that's so important, is we can bump our head against the wall for years and years trying to figure it out. But when we have the right guide, coach, mentor, consultant, it helps us to navigate with much ease, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you talked about beliefs. How do people first identify that they have a limiting belief? And then what's the first step to overcoming it? Because I may not know, it may be something that maybe a childhood trauma, something I've buried so deeply. It could be a limiting belief with finances.
Mm-hmm.
That's serving as a roadblock, and I can only get so far in my business.
I pick out or help others with their beliefs because right away I can tell just meeting them and understanding how they are speaking. Because I believe that it's not just about manifesting what you want, but it's about believing that you can or cannot have it. Because I grew up in a big family, I didn't have a lot. I remember at the age of 15, I was told that you have to be self-sufficient. You have to take care of your bills, all your clothes, college, everything at the age of 15 when I first got my first job. At first, I was devastated. And then I thought, no, I could do this. I'm not going to be pessimistic like my family. I'm going to be optimistic. I knew I had to believe in my beliefs and my systems. But what I do when I hear someone speak, immediately I can see how they're speaking to themselves and what they believe. And so, first of all, you can't be intentional about your belief until you are aware of where you're at. So I help them and I pick out, well, you had said this, and I'm bringing out what they are saying, but I want you to do something. For this next week before we meet again, towards the end, I'm sharing with them, I want you to be aware and I want you to either do it on your phone or write a little teeny little pad. And I want you to be aware of everything that you are saying and everything that you are believing, like what you are saying and what you are thinking. That's what I meant.
Okay.
What you're saying and thinking. I want you, like, even in your phone, record it, because sometimes people don't want to carry a notebook and pen and stuff, and just do voice. Everybody has the voice on their phone, and just say, okay, I just told myself I'm not good enough. I just told myself I'm stupid or whatever. And when you come back after a week, people are blown away about what they have been saying and thinking about themselves for the last week. And so again, you can't be intentional of moving forward until you're aware of what you're doing, what you're saying, and what you're thinking about. So that's the first thing, is being aware, and then really taking it to the next level of, okay, now how we can do it. Because it's not just about taking a negative and changing it to a positive. It's about really identifying, what do you want? What are your dreams and visions? And what's keeping you from believing that? Oh, because my dad told me I was stupid, or a teacher told me I was no good, I would never amount to anything. Well, we're going to take that and we're going to reverse that. And it's those little things to figure out, where did I first hear that? Who told me at what age? Now let's reverse that. So there's a whole bunch of, and I could talk about an hour on that one, but that's really first of identifying what they're thinking, what they're saying.
We're going to do a quick takeaway, and we're going to come back and dig a little bit deeper into that conversation.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, and we look forward to seeing you on March the 20th from 11:45 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are bringing our communities together. Jeff Klein, he's the founder of Speakers Co-op. We're joining with Phil Harrington. He's the founder of The Connector. And then we're combining forces with Women's Prosperity Network, Trish Carr and Susan Weiner, and yours truly, Unity and Service. We are bringing you the tea. Register at the link below this video. Impact Speakers 2026.eventbrite.com. Reserve your seat, and guess what? The seats are on us. I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, Visibility Strategist, and I am the CEO of Unity and Service, where people need people.
One of the things that Martin Luther King Jr. mentioned, and it's a great video. He was speaking to a group of students, and the question he asked is, what is your life's blueprint? And that's kind of what I hear you saying. You're understanding, helping them to first become aware, getting them into a state of dreaming, understanding what is the root cause by of those limiting beliefs, but then giving them permission to redesign, to reframe, to reimagine their life. For women today, in all countries. This is International Women's Day, and here in the U.S., we're celebrating National Women's History Month. What would you want to say to women around the world about the importance of finding your dream space once again?
I want you to have a space where you can dream. I want you to just brain dump everything on a pad and say, what do I want? Where do I want to go? What's my dream, my vision for the future? Put everything aside, time, money, relationships, everything. And I want you to know that you are unstoppable. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And God put gifts in you that you might not even know. But I want you to dream big of what you want. And anything is capable. It all starts with that very first thought. Can you do it? Absolutely, you can do it. Because if I can do it, and at the age 15 realizing, okay, I got to do life on my own now, then anybody can do it because it's in you. But I want to bring it out of you to know that you can and it is possible. So I want you to dream today and write down, what do you want? There's no sky's the limit on anything that you want. And I want to encourage every woman out there.
The theme for International Women's Day is inclusivity. Mm-hmm. And for Women's History Month, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Based on what you're doing, and you're multifaceted, right, in the lens that you're applying and helping cultivate women and empower them, realizing that they are already empowered, so that they can walk into their divine giftings and talents. What would you say to a woman who's like, okay, Laura, look at you. You made it. You have a lifelong marriage. You struggle for 3 years, but you have arrived. You have no idea what I'm going through. I'm a single mother, or I'm from an emerging nation, or maybe I'm part of a marginalized population. How can I trust you to guide me into helping me to become my best self?
I think the first thing that's very important is we have to listen what they are saying. What are they really underlining saying? Look at their body language. Look at how they're speaking, their attitude, their tone, and where is it coming from? But have compassion, empathy with that person and saying, I don't know exactly what you're going through, but let me tell you what I've gone through, and really helping them to say, I didn't have it all together. Did I get anything handed to me? Absolutely not. There were times when I was sleeping in someone's garage because I had nowhere else to go. And I would share that, listen, there were times when my car broke down and I couldn't do anything. So I went out there and laid hands on my car and said, I don't have the money. You got to fix this, God. So I've come from nothing to making tons of money because of the faith that God has given me and realizing who you are in Christ. I'm going to bring the faith in because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't. Because when people had their friends, I had friends, believe me, I was, a runner and got involved in all kinds of things with school. But God was my best friend. When I didn't know where else to lead, I would lean on him. He didn't make us to live life on our own. He made us to live a life to lean on him. And to lean on him is knowing that you're not alone. You can do it. He will give you the wisdom and knowledge and helping them to realize their identity and how God sees them, not as the world sees them, but as God sees them. And because I've come from nothing and made something out of myself, not on my own, but with him, I want to encourage them that they can too. The need to them to see the beauty and the gifting and the knowledge inside of them. And no matter what you've come through, no matter what has happened to you, it can all be turned around. And I want to give them that hope. And I want to give them that word that I keep using that I love, that you are unstoppable, but I have to help them to find that in them.
I love that. And, God transforms beauty from ashes, right? Yes. And one of the things that's facing the world right now, we came out of the pandemic, but there's the second pandemic, Laura, and that's mental wellness.
Yes.
Right? There's a stigma. We don't want to talk about it, and we suffer in silence. And those of us that are in business, that are entrepreneurs, sometimes we're juggling. We're trying to do business. We're trying to be wife, mother, whatever it is. We may be dualpreneurs. And the anxiety, the stress can end up impacting our mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have in your program and in your teaching to help women to insulate themselves as best they can? Because stressors will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Those tsunami episodes will happen in life and in business, right?
Right.
But you have your faith.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're dealing with a diverse audience, how can people tap into their place of belief?
Okay. If we're talking, I want to give an exercise that I did not develop it. This is not mine, but I use it in my course. I've heard it from so many different coaches. I don't even know where the root of who made it, but there's a thing called, let me see. I'm gonna write it down so I know how to say it. Thought, feeling. Actually, okay. There is a tool that I want to give every woman.
Okay.
And the tool is that your thought starts from a circumstance. And so every circumstance or situation that you have produces a thought. And that thought you end up feeling. But then that feeling ends up being an action and ends up being results. So it's called the CTFAC formula. I call it the formula. I like to call it the fuel mindset formula. But what happens is I want people, first of all, to realize this is a tool that they can use in everything. Because when my dad was abusive and we got hit, I could like, oh, poor me, I got hit again. Or I could just say, okay, God, show me why dad acts like this. Again, I've been through a lot, but I had to realize that he didn't get help. And so he brought his trouble into the family. So I had to take that circumstance and say, nope, I'm going to have the thought that I will get out of here and everything's going to be okay. And God's going to heal my dad. And I had to say, okay, I feel this moment because I believe that you can't heal it and you can't move forward until you own it. So yes, I feel depressed. I feel anxious, but I'm not staying there. I'm going to take that thought captive. I'm going to move forward because I am not going to go by my feelings. I'm going to act and say, okay, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to be successful. I am going to make something out of myself. I am going to be successful. And then I'm going to have the results. It's kind of like waking up, LaWanna, and you had a bad sleep and you got 3 hours sleep and you can wake up going, oh, I had the worst sleep. And then you complain to your husband. And then it's a domino effect because you've acted on the feeling, you've got the results, and it ended up being a bad day all day long. And everybody around you felt it.
Right.
But I can wake up and say,
I knew it was going to be a bad day, right?
Right. I knew it was going to be a bad day. And everybody around you like, stay away from Laura. She's had a bad day. But I can wake up and going, praise God, I'm alive. Instead of looking at the bad thing, I'm looking at God. Thank God you gave me another day. Hey, I didn't get sleep, but you know what? You're going to help me get sleep tonight. And so I will take that feeling, put it in action, be happy around me, because it's not always about reacting to your feelings, because if we did, it would be a mess, right? But no, I'm going to turn my day around. It's going to be successful. It's going to be happy. So that formula I like to use, and to believe again in yourself. And the believing is first of all, we have to find out what you're saying to yourself so we can replace it with the positive. And I love to, when I'm talking to them and picking out what are their strengths, what are their gifts, and helping them to realize, like, speaking life into them. So every time before they leave, they're like, oh, I guess I am, so they're starting with one person believing in themselves and building them up.
I love that. And I love the term you use, speaking life. So you're speaking life into them, but we have to learn how to speak life into ourselves. And if we're able to recognize, again, life happens, negative things happen.
Yes.
But finding a way to find the sunshine and the rainbow in the cloud, right?
Yes.
Then a friend of mine, her name is Wendy Walker, she says, then that's when life becomes delicious.
Yes. Oh,
and
I love that.
My father, he's 93.
Wow.
And I was asking him, he's the most joyful, peaceful person I've ever met. And I asked him, because I was doing, recordings and just getting all our family history, oral history from him and videoing him. And I said, Dad, why are you just always at this place of peace and joy and contentment? And I've never, honestly, Laura, I've never heard him say anything negative about a soul in his life.
Wow. Wow.
And he said, there's enough people complaining. Why do I want to be a part of them? And I thought, okay, that's so basic. But he's owning that, right? That's his truth. I don't want to be that.
Right.
I want to be over here. I want to be in a place of peace. Does it mean life's always been perfect? No.
No.
And I think that's what you're challenging us, is to say, okay, I see it. Let me own it. Now let me focus on what I want. Let me remember that dream.
Yeah.
And believe that I can walk in it, that it doesn't have to be a dream. It can become my manifested reality.
It can. And my husband was in the medical field. He's retired now, 44 years. And he used to always say this to me at the very beginning. When I had my limiting beliefs at the beginning, he used to go, it takes more energy to be mad and unhappy than it is to be it takes more energy to be sad and unhappy than to be happy. And I'm like, I never thought about that. I'm like, that is actually true. But when I was raised in a family, and like I said, there was a lot of love, hugs and words, but just a lot of chaos with some dysfunction, that I said, I guess I knew at a young age that I was destined for more. And so I turned that pessimistic into optimism. I turned that, like, I'm not working paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I knew that I was going to be successful, because the more money I make, the more money I get to help, the more money I get to give out. And so I just always thought about it, dreamed about it, said about it. I actually had like promises of God on my wall and quoted scriptures about me. No matter, even days you're thinking, okay, this was a day from hell, but I'm like, no, but the promises are, because I've had them, like, okay, I need to go to bed because there's nothing else that came out good with this day. But yes, it can be. And so those were the things that I had to walk through, that now I get to share. Let me help you get there faster, because I've already been through all of it.
Do you find in your program, as you're coaching individuals, that you spend a significant amount of time up front with the mindset and the belief before you go into further constructing their journey?
That is a very good question, because I didn't do that at the beginning, but these last 4 years I have, and it's made the big difference. Even in one of my courses, my coach had said, you've got limiting beliefs and faith and all that stuff on module 8. You need to be doing module 1. And when I realized that doesn't matter who you are in front of, again, doctors, lawyers, it doesn't matter. Everybody has that limiting belief, that things that they struggle with. But if you start out first covering that, they're going to get to so much further than dealing with it at the end, because they're going to come to you every time going, I can't do it. I can't find any clients. I can't do this. They're always going to do that. But wait, who says you can't? Or who says, I will bring that to their attention, but in a good way, not like, condemning them. I'm like, wait, what did you just say? Who said that? Or who's believing that? So I'll bring that out. So yes, I believe setting the stage at first, they'll get to their destination so much further and get more results.
We're going to do a quick breakaway, and we will be right back. The title today, we're talking about how to become a prosperous leader. So let's talk about prosperity. Let's talk money, folks. It's okay, right?
Money.
So many women, I find, and I don't know really why this is, but I'm certain because this is your lane, you may know, tend to, I think, undervalue what it is that they're offering, their product and or service. Mm-hmm. And some would challenge, well, they're creating this valuation based upon how they see and value themselves. Do you think there's a correlation, or is it a feeling that if I go too high, then maybe I won't be as accepted? It's better to have some money versus no money. What's going on here?
That is a good question. There's so many different ways I can go that in directions. Can you rephrase that? Because I want to make sure that I answer it properly when it comes to
Yes.
women with finances.
So we're talking about prosperity. And one of the things, so being a financial analyst, I realize that women would rather talk about anything else but finances.
Right.
And when we look at the stats, I'm just speaking to women in the US right now,
Right.
only 3% of women are even comfortable with where they will be once they retire. 3%.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about setting ourselves up and putting the proper value on what it is that we're offering, the proper valuation, why do we play small? Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Why do you feel women are playing small, and how do you help them to level up?
Sometimes it does come from our background of people who spoke into us of what we are capable. Like, okay, a lot of times we're seeing like, okay, well, my parents did this, so I guess I'm going to be like this. And that's not the case. You are not who you were. You're not your parents. You have to believe that you can have anything. And it doesn't matter, not saying anything negative, but what your parents were, you are a different person, and that we're not who we were brought up in the family. We have to believe that we have our own destiny, our own promises, our own vision, our own dreams. And we have to believe that we can dream big, that we shouldn't cap off of like, okay, well, I don't really know anybody in this way. And anything's possible. Like, I don't know anybody who's made 7 figures or whatever. It's like, yes, you can do it. And it's really helping them to believe that they can. But that also comes with finding out what really their strengths are, what they're good at, what their passion is. So there are women, trust me, there are women say, I don't know if I can do it. I know if I can do it. Well, we have to start again saying, yes, you can believe it. And it is possible, but it's them really believing in themselves.
I like that. So no matter where you go in this, because I'm building this web and it still seems to go right back to the basics of that belief.
Yeah.
Right. What do you believe in? Are you committed to that? And we hear people say we could set your intention. And I can intend all day long, and it feels good to set intentions and to dream and have vision boards and all of this stuff.
Right,
but I'm spinning. But when I'm committed, like you said, when you were a young girl, you were committed. Like, okay, if this is what you're saying I'm going to do, then I don't know how.
Right.
But I'm going to make it happen.
It's commitment, but I also believe this. I love the video that you had, that a commercial right before here about the community. And that's why I've built communities, because I believe that you can build anything on your own, but when you connect with others, you will go faster and you will be able to grow your empire faster and better when you collaborate with other women. Like I said, you could do it on your own, but it's so much better and faster when you do it, when you collaborate. And so I believe in community. I believe in collaboration. I believe in partnering. I believe in networking and connecting with others. It makes the big difference. And that's why I believe us women, we stick together. We're better together. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I may not have certain resources or networks, but you do, but I'm bringing something else to the table, right? So collectively, we can go farther, faster.
Yes. And sometimes we just don't see our blind spots, and we don't see we're so into what we're doing that we're missing a whole bunch of stuff. And so when people ask other questions, you go, oh, why didn't I think of that? Like, that's really going to help my business. And so that collaboration and the brainstorming and masterminding is so powerful when you come together as a community.
I love that. Well, we just have a few more minutes, and I want to give you time to talk to our audience and share a little bit more about your program, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So As Laura White, business strategist, life coach, I love helping women not only grow their business, but help make an impact and leave a legacy. So I do have a community that where women come together, business owners, your coaches, your consultants, your course creators, and your service providers, where we do all that networking, collaborating, and partnering, and really building each other up, cheering each other on. You're not alone, because sometimes it is lonely out there as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And then I also have programs where we do talk about the strategies. I did try 3 years to really make it as an entrepreneur, and it took me a long time. And now I know the things that will help you to grow your business better and faster and quicker. So you don't have to spend all the money that I did or spend all the time trying to figure it out. So if you are interested, please connect with me. I would love to have a strategy call and a plan that we can put together that's going to take you to the next level in your business, your mind, and your faith, anything that you need. But I believe that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You have a calling, you have a purpose. And when we get out there and give our message, then you're helping others. When we don't speak up and we don't get our message out there, we are keeping someone from their victory. And so I just wanted to say, you are special and you're unstoppable. I'm here to help because I don't want any woman to suffer like I did. I want them to prosper.
I love it. This has been amazing. Thank you so very much for saying yes, for being a part of Business and Financial Raw Talk, a no holds barred forum for leaders and innovators for this special Women's History Day. I look forward to us collaborating and just getting to know each other better. We should definitely share some synergies, and would love to have you come back on the show, and perhaps you could have a little teachable moment for our audience.
I would love it, LaWanna. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been an honor. It's been fun.
Thank you. And to our listening audience, thank you so very much for joining us for another special edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. And please remember that in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
With Raw Talk, we are empowering women to rise and succeed in business and finances and improve the world for the next generation. Get ready to get raw and real. Live each Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.